Good morning. Hello, hello. Let's see. I still have to share the link in my Facebook group, so I'm just going to do that. Good morning, Sarina. Sorry, I can't type and talk at the same time. There, and now I still want to post it on Instagram. Good morning, Emma. Good morning, Anik. Let's see. Instagram. How is everyone doing? Today is going to be a special live stream because the sock along has just started yesterday. Copy URL. Yes, the sock along has just started yesterday. The Scheepjes Summer Sock Along. So I'm going to answer some questions, and yeah, I think we'll have a lot of fun. So live Q and A. Come and join us. Okay. There we go. Hello. Good morning, Miranda. Serena has the pattern and the yarn for the socks, and you're gonna start tomorrow. Great. Miranda also has everything to start the socks, but first she's gonna finish a summer top for her niece. Yay! Good morning, Astrid. Hello, hello, good morning. Let's see. Yes, I think everything is running smoothly. All right. Good morning, Amanda. Anik has the pattern and she's using other yarn. That is completely fine. Use any yarn you like. Of course, I'm using Scheepjes Downtown, and I did not knit all of these socks. I only knit two pairs. Where is the one? Oh, here. So I knit this one and this pair. And these three were made by my lovely sample makers. Let's see, this one is by Liz, this one is by Susanna, and this one is by Grana. So really, really pretty socks that I get to borrow for now. And today I'm going to be casting on my sock. So I'm going to be knitting a third pair. So I've got my needles and I have lots of yarn. I'm just going to take it out of the packaging for now because otherwise there'll be lots of crinkling. Good morning, Ellen. Ellen started yesterday, 2 at a time. Yay! New challenge. The start it has been made. Yay! That is great. So I don't have a full ball left of Scheepjes Downtown, but I have lots of leftovers, so I have an idea. lots of leftovers. Who can guess my idea? And this one. So much yarn. Okay, I'm going to be turning on the other camera. And so today, while I am casting on for my own sock, I'm also going to be answering some questions about the sock along, about the pattern. I've already noted down some questions. Well, I haven't noted them down. It's here somewhere, that I think would be very helpful to answer here. Like one is, I'm getting a hole at the side of the sock and how do I fix that? One is, how do you do this if you're left-handed? And we will see what other questions pop up. Please do let me know if you have a question. If you're watching this on the replay, please also just post your comment here. It's probably best, if you can't make it live, that you post your question in the Facebook groups instead, because I'll see that sooner. Yeah, all right, and just some house admin. Hi Esther. Just some house admin. If the screen is like very pixelated, you can go with your mouse, you can go over the screen and go to the settings wheel and you can set it higher, the quality. If the video is very choppy, so if there's like a small break in between every few words, then the Wi-Fi connection isn't that good, and you probably just want to pause me for like 30 seconds or like rewind 30 seconds so that you're not exactly live, and then YouTube will have some time to fix all of that. So that's just the house admin. Let's set this up. Serena says the only thing you want to watch out for with 2 at a time is that you separate the yarns. Yes, exactly. The techniques are the same, but yeah, yarn management. Oh, good morning, Chris. Good morning from Northern Carolina. Good morning, Chitska. How to do the magic loop without a knot. Okay, we'll get to that. Okay. There. I have so much yarn. Ta-da! Right, so first I'll explain what I'm doing. Good morning from Japan. I know good morning. Ohayo, I think. So I'll just put these lovely socks by the side for now. Yes, crappy socks. So, yes, that is my idea. I have lots of leftovers of downtown. Oh God, I don't want to get it all tangled. Oops, sorry. And my idea is that I'm casting on with Metropolis, so I'll have to figure out a color for that. And then I'll do a few stripes of maybe this color, and then I'll do a few stripes of this, a few stripes of this. And I think it's going to be super fun. So they're going to be my my Frankenstein socks. Yeah, and this camera right here might be a little more choppy because it also connects via Wi-Fi, so sorry about that. Emma says, my mission today is to finish my current pair. Only the ribbing to go on one sock, yay! Then to cast on a new pair, yay! Esther asks, how do you see which color Metropolis is a good match for the downtown yarn? Is there an overview? Yes, there is an overview. I'll just put the link right here. It's on Simi's studio, downtown Metropolis. The definitive guide to Metropolis and downtown. Yes. So, I'm going to post a link. But I do have a note with that, because one of the matches is this, and you see that it's a perfect match. The downtown is a perfect match with the Metropolis because one color in there is almost exactly the color Metropolis. But one thing you might want to look out for is that, you know, if you're casting on and maybe you're at the place where you want to put in the heel and you're at that color, and then you really want a little bit of the next color before you do the heel so that it's not one big thing. But you know, it doesn't really matter actually. But I find it easier, that's what I wanted to say, I find it easier to match a downtown yarn with a color that is not in it at all, because then you're not worrying about that. So for example, this is also a nice combination, right? And you don't have to worry about the same color coming next to each other, right? If you're using a color that is exactly like a match in there, you have to, you know, do a little bit of calculating. I had to do the same here because I didn't want these yellows to be next to each other, right? But don't worry about it too much. So, but yes, I am also going to have to pick out a Metropolis color to go with these. And obviously there are going to be lots of colors in here, so basically any Metropolis that I pick will be a good match. So let's see. Ooh, I think there's a nice match in here. We have pink, we have salmon, I love that one. We have Marseille, we have, what's this, San Juan, Abu Dhabi? No, Vancouver. The yellow one, I already used the yellow one, so I don't want to use it again. Oh, I have this one. This is Marrakesh 51. I have the really vibrant orange one. Oh, and this one, I like this one too, Suwon, which I think is 18. Oh, I like this one as well. Right. think this is going to be too dark. I think this is going to be too bright. This might be too soft. This one is the same as this color, so I might want to use a different one there as well. I really like Marrakesh. Abu Dhabi is also nice. Serena bought the red downtown 401. Isn't that this one? No. Oh, is it the sunset one with light gray? Ooh, nice. Right. So okay, let's see. I like that. Ooh, look at that match. Doesn't have to match with all of them. I think I just have a real preference for Marrakesh. And then I could do the heel in this color. The blue, to start with the middle one. This one. That is fun. That is fun. Yeah, exactly. I should choose which downtown color I should use first. But I was thinking, no, you're right. I need to pick one of the colors I have most of. Let's see what the next color is. Because if you start with the downtown yarn, then you want to wind off yarn until you get to the next color. Oh, and it's pink. Okay, so yeah, let's use this one for the toe. All right, so I'm going to be casting on. I'm going to be moving some of this stuff out of the way just so that it's not so busy on your screen. Okay. And I want to be answering the question first on how to do this left-handed because, of course, that starts from the cast on. It's going to be a little bit different. So, if you're left-handed, you're doing all of the things with your other hand. So for the cast on, we are usually taking our needles in our right hand, right, as you saw me doing in the tutorial video, and then casting on like this, right? But if you're left-handed, you want to start with your left hand, and obviously this is going to be super hard for me. Lay it across and then like this, and then right? And you can do this by, am I doing this correctly? Yes. Okay. And if you can't mirror the movements on your own, then you can put a mirror in front of, or like, yeah, in front of your laptop and look at the tutorial video via the mirror, right? Because I'll have to cast on a couple stitches here. Most people who knit left-handed, most people who are left-handed actually are knitting right-handed, just because, you know, they've been taught that way. But the definition, right? If you're right-handed, you're knitting, you have your stitches here and you're knitting them onto the right needle. If you're left-handed, you have your stitches here and you're knitting them onto the left needle, right? And I've been doing a course on left-handed knitting. I can't do it very well yet, but I've been wanting to teach myself so that I can help left-handed knitters better. Oops. See? I'm a mess. I'm splitting the yarn. Yeah, so. But basically, you want to do everything mirrored. But other than that, it is the same. So, I'm going to cast on my stitches. And let's see, was it Esther? No, Chitske. Yeah, on the question about magic loop. I'll come to that in a minute when I have some when I've done some rounds. And also, I'm not quite sure what you mean by, you know, how to do the magic loop without it getting tangled or without it, you know, getting in a knot. So I'm just showing you how I do it, and then, you know, give some extra tips here and there, and then hope that answers your question. I have 10 stitches on each needle. So I'm going to turn take out the bottom needle. And in the groups, there was one participant who always had like a gap on the side. And, you know, you want to minimize gaps by, of course, the first stitch, you want to do it a bit tighter. But there's another thing you have to take into account. Let's see. She means if you do it at the time, two at a time, or if you do it all the time. Okay. Yeah, feel free to type in Dutch. Na een rij de onderste naald in de rond trekken en de andere op de harde naald zetten en de knip. Okay, I'm going to have to do that as I work. Let's see. So after just one row, so when you're halfway through a round, So I've done one complete round now. And what do you mean with de knijper op de loop? So at basically at all times you will have one side of your stitches on the needle tip and one side of your stitches on the cable, right? And now I'm switching those up because I want to be knitting this round, but still I have one side on the needle tip and one side on the cable. I don't know what you mean with the, oh, the loop. Oh, I was reading it Dutch, the loop. Okay. So I have the loop right here, right? I'm turning my work, pulling this loop bigger because I want to change up the needles. I'm not sure I'm understanding. Oh, like that. So, okay, if I'm getting this correctly, you mean that you pull on the loop too much and then all of a sudden you have everything here like this? Is that what you mean? Because if so, then yes, it could be an idea to try 100 centimeter cable. But it's an easy fix, right? So you want to count that every side has half of the stitches, right? And then I'm just pinching the work here, see? And then I'm pulling this out, okay? Because really you just want to pull it a little bit so that the needle tips. Yeah. Oh, don't apologize. This is totally fine. I'm just happy that that I understand. Okay, and then so I have done one knit round and one increase round, and now I have quite a bit of fabric, right? And then in the video I'm showing you that now you can kind of fold this fabric. So you want to have this cable close to your needle tip. So to avoid a ladder here. But sometimes you'll still get a hole, and that is that depends on where your yarn is. So for example, I have my yarn here and I'm turning my work. Okay, and see that the yarn is now hanging down between the needle tips. And if I take this cable like this and I'm taking the yarn, you're making another loop around your needle like that. And that's what's been happening for someone in the groups. So when you change from one side to the next, you want to make sure that your yarn is not in between the needles, but that you throw it over the edge. Okay, so that if you're pulling this loop, that the yarn is not in there. Okay. Because that can cause some extra gaps and, you know, some loose stitches here and there. And you won't notice when you're doing it, and you'll get to it the next round, and you're like confused, like, what is this? What did I do? And it's a very common thing. I've seen it a lot during workshops. So also here, the yarn needs to just fall over the edge. I think I might check the groups to see if there are some other questions that I can answer. If you're here and you want to ask some questions, please do let me know. Let's see. Everyone is doing so well. Right. We have been getting lots of questions about if there's a wool-free alternative for Escapees Metropolis and Escapees Downtown. And one of the moderators in the groups has made a pair of socks with Escapees Roulette, which is a cotton and acrylic blend. So if you're looking for a wool-free alternative, Escapees Roulette is a great choice. I've also knit some socks with Escapees Mighty, and Escapees Mighty is a really fun yarn. It's a oh, what's the English? I think it's Jute. So Jute, Jute, and it's a mix with cotton. And you might think, that doesn't sound like sock yarn. But I did knit socks with it, and they're really nice. Of course, it's a thicker yarn, so I have a different pattern for that, which is also on my website. They're called the Foot Spa socks. And as the name suggests, foot spa, I'm wearing them most often just after a shower, because my regular socks, you know, they get wet really easily. You know, after the shower, when, you know, there might still be some drops everywhere, and the floor is wet, and, you know, so I really like to wear my Escapees Mighty socks then. Tinsel. No, tinsel isn't Let's see, tinsel is like What is tinsel? No, that's like a Christmas decoration, right? I think it's the same word, jute. But I do want to say, like, most people ask for a wool-free alternative because they think wool isn't soft enough. But of course, if you're allergic, that's a different conversation. But I find Escape's Metropolis and Downtown to be so super soft. Yeah, I just give it a go if you're not allergic, and because this is just so soft. And everyone who has tried Escape's Metropolis will say, oh yeah, it's so soft. So in the next couple of weeks, on every Wednesday, I'll have a new blog post with some tips and tricks and just, highlighting some things in the pattern. And, in the blog post, I can explain it a bit better because I want the pattern to be as, concise, as compact as possible. So in the blog post, I will be giving some more tips. And next week I'll have a blog post on the heel. I've also been thinking about how to do the toe differently, or alternatives for Judy's Magic Cast On, things like that. Good morning, Natasha. Esther asks, do you also have a video on 5 needles? I do have a video on 4 needles. Do you mean the little sock DPNs? I do have a video on that in English, but for the cast on, it's really helpful. And it's for my simple toe up socks pattern. And yeah, where do I link this? Let's see. Oops. It's if you go to my YouTube channel, it's really the first video that you see. So after the live video, you can just click on my, channel, New Leaf Podcast, and then the very first video that you see, how to cast on, how to knit toe up socks, something like that, that will have the information, or in that video I'm showing you how to knit on double pointed needles as well. Hi Colleen. Oh, good evening for you. Hi Ariadne, welcome. What is everyone making? I'm very curious to know. I'm just casting on a sock toe for the sock along, but you know, don't feel pressure to start a sock yourself as well. Feel free to just knit or crochet on whatever you were doing this week. Amanda is making all the socks. Yeah. I love that everyone is so enthusiastic, and also that some people are planning multiple pairs. It's really, just really, really fun. And I'm so excited for all the first-time sock knitters as well. It's just one of the things that I love most about what I do, is that people will follow a video or a pattern of mine and they will say, oh, I always thought this was going to be so difficult, but that they found my video way less intimidating. And I love that so much because, you know, I don't know if it's the same everywhere, but sock knitting here in the Netherlands has always been this kind of like, oh, it's so difficult. And it really doesn't have to be. Anique is working on the what's the SSL from West Knits? Oh, I should know this. Oh, do you mean the surprise sock along? The contrast blast socks. I love them. They look amazing. Colleen is in the middle of crocheting a test shawl. Can't wait to start the socks on the weekend though. Yay! Socks are always great to just have as a side project. Hey, good morning, Charlie. Charlie is feeling inspired to learn how to knit 2 socks at the same time. Yeah. It's really, really fun. I mean, I think I still prefer one at a time socks. But that's just because I take my projects everywhere, and I don't want to get it tangled, but it's really easy to keep it untangled. But and Serena says, I'm influenced by Charlie to do the make along. Yay! Astrid casted on a sock yesterday. I love the stripes, very motivating. Yes, exactly. And I love the Scapious Downtown, so self-striping sock yarn for, especially for beginners, because I think it's a misconception about knitting beginners or crochet beginners that, okay, they just need to learn one stitch at a time, or, you know, one simple project, because beginners get bored. You really need to, you know, the more you knit, the more patient you are, so the more stockinette you can handle. But the self-striping just adds this effect like, ooh, I'll go to the next stripe, ooh, next stripe, ooh. So it keeps you motivated. And I think beginners really need that motivation. Same with my Cozy Moments shawl, which is a lace shawl pattern. And many people were tackling that as their first knitting pattern, and I was so surprised. But you know, when I thought about it, it has 8 different lace patterns, so whenever you got comfortable with one, or maybe whenever you got bored with one of them, you would change to a new one, and I think that's really helpful for beginners. Valerie says, I'm so glad for this sock along. Yay! I tried to learn how to knit socks earlier this year. Your videos were very helpful. Thank you so much. But I lost motivation quite quickly. I'm back at it now and determined to finish. Yay! Yeah, I love that about like knit alongs or make alongs as well, because you just keep seeing photos of people you know, making progress on their socks, and then you're like more motivated to finish it as well. Chris says, beginners aren't the only ones who get bored. Yeah, true. I've been knitting over 50 years and always have multiple projects. Yeah. I totally understand. But also, I can just knit stockinette sweaters just on the couch now. And when I was a beginner, I would have been so bored just knitting stockinette. It needed to be cable or some other stitch, like a bramble stitch or raspberry stitch, because otherwise I would just not do it. Okay, how many stitches do I have? 20, 24. So that's 48. And I need 30 stitches on each side. Let's see, Chitska is knitting 2 socks on 1 needle, yay! And yesterday she received the Scapious yarn bookazine, the romance issue. Oh, that's nice. I've always wanted to make the gloves. Oh, that's my pattern, isn't it? Oh, nice. Natasha says, I love knitting stockinette. Means I can watch a movie or read on my e-reader at the same time. Yeah. Me too. Chris says, by the way, so glad to see you knitting continental. Most tutorials do not demonstrate continental. Yes. I also knit English style in tutorial videos because most knitters learn to knit English style, and whenever I do tutorial on content, you know, whenever I do a tutorial or a workshop and I'm showing things continental style, a lot of knitters are confused, or they focus on the continental style and they say, oh, but I want to learn that. And then I'm like, no, we're just, you know, learning one thing at a time. Because if you're trying a new technique and trying out continental for the first time, it's like recipe for disaster. Ariadne says, I find that I have sock phases where I just want to knit socks. Yeah, I finished a pair of ankle socks. Nice. So comfy to wear when there's warmer weather. Yes, exactly. Esther has to go, but thank you for explaining. Yeah, thank you for being here, Esther. Have a nice day. Colleen says, I want to watch the videos. I always seem to have loopy stitches where you have to change the needle on the circular needles. Yes, so were you here when I explained that? So when you're going from one side to the next, you want to make sure that your yarn is like outside of your needles and not hanging in between your needles, because if you're then taking this needle and knitting and you're taking the yarn like this, then you're creating an extra loop on your needle. Don't know if you were around when I showed that, so always make sure your yarn is hanging off of the back, or you know. And knit round now. Okay. Ariadne says, I haven't cast on yet, but I'm joining along on the 2 socks on 1 needle. Yay! I feel like 2 at a time socks, it's really not that difficult, but it's just very intimidating. So I'm happy that I took the time to film this tutorial, but because really it's not that difficult, and I'm really excited that a lot of people are trying it out now. Nikki asks, if you've never knit before, is 2 at a time a good idea? No. Sorry. No, just start with 1 sock at a time. Yeah. Because that's gonna be a lot at once already. Charlie says, yeah, it feels super daunting. Yeah, exactly. So if you've knit a sock and you're like, 2 at a time, no. And I got really intrigued when I was in a sock knitting Facebook group, and I saw a woman knitting 8 socks at a time, 4 pairs, 8 socks on 1 needle. No, not on 1 needle. She had 2 long circular needles, and then she knit 8 socks at a time. What wool would you suggest for cozy bed socks? I knitted a pair with lace weight and they were soon worn and full of holes. Yeah. Bed socks. Let's see. Do you want them to be super soft? Because and do you mean you wear them in bed, or like the first, or like as house slippers? Like the first thing you put on when you get out of bed. Yes, 8 socks. Because yeah, I do really like Escapees Metropolis because it's so super soft. If you want that like kind of like bathrobe feel, you know, they have Escape is super soft. It's like this, yeah, it's like this fluffy hotel towel feel. And again, Escape is Mighty. I just really love that. But that is more like a house slipper sock and not like a bed sock. Chris says, I've knit multiple pairs of socks, but totally intimidated at the thought of 2 at a time. Yeah, exactly. And you know, I want to challenge you, Chris, to knit 2 at a time. Even if you start 2 at a time, you can always separate them into, you know, 2 separate socks. So you can give it a try. Colleen says, no, it wasn't there, but want to go back and watch. Yeah, someone on Facebook mentioned that you addressed this. Yeah, so I hope I explained it correctly. Ariadne says it does help for birthday and Christmas knitting. Oh yeah, 8 socks. Yeah, exactly. Nikki says the butter or Bergen IJsselmuid is used a lot for bed socks. I haven't heard of those. I should look it up. Serena says 2 at a time is more than enough. Yeah. Oh yeah, okay. Super soft socks for in bed, but also to walk downstairs to make early morning tea. Yeah. Okay, so because like the fluffy towel yarn that I mentioned, the Scapious Super Soft or the Scapious Softy or something, if you want to wear those out of bed, you definitely want to have like an anti-slip spray, you know? Because I don't want you falling down the stairs because they're so slippery. Chris says, I've done 2 in tandem, 2 sets of needles. Yeah, exactly. So you can totally do this. I think I'm on my last round of the toe. But it might be wishful thinking. Let's see. 3, 6, 9, 10, 3, 6, 9, 20, 3, 6, 8. Okay, I have to do one more increase round. Oh, and also, I'm just looking at my glittery nails, and it reminds me why I got them. We went to see the Barbie movie last Monday. It was it was hilarious. So much pink. I absolutely loved it. So if you're still on the fence about going, just go and see it. It's so crazy. I absolutely loved it. And hi Barbie. Yeah, we went together, Charlie and I, and our other halves, and we were just like laughing like, oh hi Barbie, and they were like, what is this? But yeah, we've even my boyfriend, we've been singing I'm Just Ken like at least 1 time a day. We've sung it like 3 times yesterday. I can't get it out of my head. Oh yeah, I was just thinking about that as well, but you know, the girl behind us was just silly for not saying it back to us, right? Oh. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've got my 60 stitches, so now I want to finish with just a knit round. A question in Dutch, yes of course. Ik kan het niet goed zien, maar steek je soms in de achterste lus. So yes, I do. I will also answer it in Dutch. So I'm sometimes using the back loop, yes, for the increase. So if I'm doing an increase, I'm knitting in the front and back of the same stitch. Dus alleen bij meerderingen gebruik ik ook de achterste lus. Want ik gebruik de meerdering RVA en dat is recht breien in de voorste en de achterste lus. Maar voor de rest gebruik ik de voorste lus. Okay. All right. One thing I am going to do for my scrappy Frankenstein socks, because, sorry, if you weren't here at the beginning, I am going to knit socks with all of these yarn scraps, and they're going to be my Frankenstein stripy socks. So, and one thing that I am going to do is I'm going to be wrapping my yarn ends while I go. And I have a tutorial video for that as well. So a couple of stitches before I change to the other color, I'm going to be wrapping my next yarn. But I only do this for scrappy socks because otherwise there would be so many ends. I don't do this for regular socks because sometimes you'll see it, and then, you know, if I just have a few ends, then I'll rather weave it and just weave it in myself. Carolina asks, can I use yarn for my stash? Yes, obviously, yes. So to use the pattern, I would advise the same needle, 2.25 millimeter needle, and most sock yarns are okay for that needle size. So yeah, totally, you can knit along with us. Yeah, I know it's not super clear because there's a lot of sunlight here, which also means lots of shadows. So it's probably not super clear. Okay, I'm just going to browse the Facebook group for a minute and see if I can find another question. How far should we aim to get in week 1? Okay, that's a good question, because the make-along is 4 weeks long. And usually what Escapees does for their make-alongs and knit-alongs and crochet-alongs is that each week you get a part of the pattern, and then you make that part, and then the next week you get the next part. But of course now with the sock-along, the entire pattern, you already have it in the first week. And it's absolutely not to mean that you need to finish the entire sock in 1 week. But I wanted to have it like, oh, I always forget the English word for this. I wanted to be like more overzichtelijk. Ooh, what's the English? Like more clear. I didn't want to chop it all into pieces. And each next week I'm going to just highlight some things from the pattern that I have extra tips for. So for this first week, you can really just go at your own pace. If you want to knit a pair of socks in these 4 weeks, then you should aim to finish 1 sock in 2 weeks. So maybe that at the end of week 1, you're getting to the heel, right? But really, you can go at your own pace. Amanda says you wanted the pattern to be complete and concise. Oh yeah, for the overzichtelijk, yes. Right. I've done it before with a sock pattern that I chopped it up into pieces, and it was for my simple toe-up socks, and I just got so many questions. Where do I find part 2? Where do I find part 3? And I thought I'll just do everyone a favor and post it all in one go. Chitsa and Jiska has to go. Thank you so much. Have a great day. So if you're wondering what I'm doing right now with the weaving in of ends, I have a video for this, how to knit scrappy socks. Maybe I'll link that in my blog post next week, or maybe I'll link it in the description when I'm done. Can I watch this video again afterwards? Yes, it will just be here on YouTube. So yeah, it'll just be here. Let's see if I can find another question. Question. I've only made cuff down socks so far with the heel flap and gusset, but in those I've needed to extend the heel flap to accommodate my high instep. How would I do that with this shorter heel? Okay, so if you have a high instep, then you would also need to do a gusset before getting to the heel, and then doing the shorter heel, and then doing the heel flap. I have that construction in well, many of my patterns, but I don't think I have that as a free pattern, because it just, you know, it is a bit more difficult to figure it out, so I don't have that as a free pattern option. But I will be sure to link some of those. Just ask, what time is it where you are? For me, it is 10:21 a.m. 1:20. Is it a.m. or p.m. for you? Oh wait, you're in California or Carolina. I forgot. That would be a.m. right? After midnight. Bum, bum, bum. I'm wondering how many stripes I should do of this one before I go to the next. I think maybe 3 stripes. Serena says, so nice to see that there are people who give up sleep to be here with us. Yeah, I feel very, very privileged to, to have people here where it's after midnight. You do want to get your sleep. Fireside and Fairy Tale asks, what is the most difficult sock pattern you have ever knit? Let's think. Because of course when I started, all of the sock patterns were really difficult. I've knit a Fair Isle sock with 4 colors, but not 4 at the same time. I've done lace, I've done cables. I'm not sure what I would say is the most difficult. I think probably when I started there was this cable sock and it was really, really difficult. And I had to learn how to do 1x1 cables. So just lifting one, crossing over one stitch. And I had to learn how to do that without a cable needle. So I think that was probably the most difficult, because also after I finished it, it turned out way tighter than usual for my size, because of all the cables. I didn't realize that the cables made it tighter. So yeah. Yay, I'm on to the next color. And the color after this is going to be pink again. That's fun. So it will really look very different to the one I've knit before, because I'm probably just going to use this and then switch to another. Or should I do the green as well? Well, I have some time to figure that out. Oh, by the way, talking about difficult sock patterns, every year there's this sock madness pattern, and they always look so fascinating. I've never knit one of those because I'm not really sure how it goes. There's always it seems like it's a competition, and there's always a qualifier sock. So before the actual contest sock, and I'm wondering if you only get the pattern if you've managed to do the qualifier sock. So I would really love to get into that someday. Have you come across Around the World in Knitted Socks by Stephanie van der Linde? I've only knit 2 of the patterns in the book, but both are good. Your cable socks sound daunting. Yeah. Oh, I haven't heard it before, but I will look that up for sure. Around the World in Knitted Socks. That's so fun. You know what I was wondering yesterday? That during the sock-along, so during these 4 weeks, I was wondering how many pairs in total would be knit during this time. Because I don't even know how many people are participating. Of course, there's project pages on Ravelry, but lots of people don't create a project page. So, but yeah, and then some people are knitting multiple pairs. So, yeah, I just think it's really fun to think about it. How many pairs of socks are going to be created in these 4 weeks? Oh, you're in Scotland. Ooh, I love Scotland. We're planning to go back. Well, we visited a couple times, and we're still planning a visit in October, because I hear it is most beautiful in October. And I mean, we were there in like March and June, and it was already like breathtakingly beautiful. Which color should I do next? So I think I'm gonna do one more stripe of this and then change to a different yarn. And I have the options. More blue. I have this one. I have the purple one. I have this one. Orange. Pastel, this one, this one. Come to the Scottish border and look out on sheep on the hills. Oh. What color do you have on your needle now? I have blue, but the next one, I still want to do one more, is this kind of like a bubblegum candy floss pink. So I'm thinking I don't want to do this one because this will be too similar. So one of these. The orange brown one, this one? Yeah, I was thinking about that as well. Okay, I'm on to the pink color. The only thing I'm wondering is, let's see. Okay. I do think this is a full stripe because I see just a little bit of the old color here. I'll wind it into a bowl. Kan je ook een klassieke heel breien toe op So can you knit a classic heel toe up? Yes, absolutely. So I have many sock patterns where you knit a gusset and then do a shorter heel and heel flap. So that would be a classic heel. And I find it much easier to knit a classic heel toe up than cuff down, because for cuff down you have to pick up stitches, and for toe up you don't have to do that. Yeah, I think next week for the blog post I will just focus on types of heels, because I think most people will be at the heel then, and then I'll explain a bit on the options that you have. Do you have a tutorial for the toe up classic heel? Yes, I do, but it's on my Patreon page. But I will also mention it because there is a 7-day free trial, so you could just join for 7 days and try it out for free. Because it is just, yeah, it's a really great alternative if you want to do an instep, and it's the closest thing to a free pattern that I have, so people can I mean, for that heel, people can join for 7 days and then cancel, and it will all be free, and you have the video, and there is a PDF download as well. And it's called the toe up gusset heel. Yeah, I'll be sure to mention it in the blog post next week, and people can choose whether they want to do that. I'm almost ready for the color change. Knit faster. I think it's pretty good actually that I've been able to knit this in 1 hour and 30 minutes. That's pretty good. My record for knitting a pair of socks is 16 hours. Yeah, that was when I needed to knit a pair of gift socks, and I had a lot of time. Good morning, Annalena. How are you? How is the weather today in Greece? It's quite sunny here. You dropped a stitch and needed to start over? Do you mean you're at the heel? No, Serena, I forgot what you were doing. Let's see. Hot as always, yeah. Oh, you have a lot to do at work. Oh, that's never fun. Oh, right. So, Annalena, I am knitting Frankenstein socks. So, because I have lots of downtown yarn, right? But I don't have a full ball of it. And, you know, I probably could knit another pair with these, but I've just completed a pair with those colors. So, I am going to do a Frankenstein sock. And I'm just doing a few stripes of one color and then a few stripes of another color. Oh, it's at the beginning that you dropped a stitch. Yeah. Yeah, that is a bummer. At the cast on, yeah. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to how it's going to turn out. I'm going to be switching to this orange next. I think I'll be here until like 11. So I can go and check out the groups and help a bit more in there. Okay, I have a couple stitches left of this color. Okay, so I'm gonna start wrapping the new color. All right. Hee. I'm really liking this. I wonder if people will be doing this as well with their scraps. Do you have a local knitting shop? Yes, I have a couple around here where I live. And they're just really nice. Probably, well, I'm not sure if I'm allowed to mention their names actually. um, but yeah, they're really nice. I love local yarn shops. One thing that I do wish is that I had like a knitting circle, like a knitting club in the evening, but I don't know. I don't think there are any close to me. But I sometimes see yarn shops hosting those, and it just looks so nice. But I also think I would be scared of going to one just because, you know, people. I'm not really great with new people. Oh, you too. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know much about the local knitting scene in Greece, so I don't have any recommendations for you. Oh, talking about knitting circle, next week I am going to a craft picnic, which is in Sittard, and my friend Charlie is hosting it, and I'm gonna try to be there. Amanda says you could come to my house, but the commute would be hard. Yeah. Oh, I would love that so much. And then go scuba diving with your husband. Uh, yeah, I think it would be around 12, 14-hour flight. Annalena says the knitting scene is not so big in Greece, but getting more popular the last years. That is great. Oh, you have a local knitting club. Oh, that's so nice. Ariadne says I would love a knitting club as well, but it's hard to set up something, and I'm also not really good at meeting new people. Yeah, exactly. It's like, yeah. I always feel more at ease around knitters than, you know, regular new people. But still, it is like quite scary. Thank God I'm not the only one who is socially awkward. Yes. I'm awkward Barbie. Are we all shy woodland creatures? Yeah. Just, leave us some food and then we'll come and take it. But otherwise. I'm like always overthinking what I say, so either I say nothing or I'm rambling on until no one's interested anymore. Oh, I love this. The pink and then the orange. I love that. Because here in the yarn I was using before, there is a green between the orange and pink. Now I've kind of brought those together. I love it. I've been to Dutch Comic Con 3 times and have had a photo op with actors, and I always try to think that they feel the same as I do. Yeah. Okay, coming up to the gray. And when we get to the gray, I think I'm gonna end the live stream because my shoulders are hurting. This is quite an unnatural knitting position, just, kind of bending over the table. And then I'm gonna see if I can help some more in the groups. Oh, and if you take any pictures, do put them in the Facebook groups. So Scapius has 2 Facebook groups. They have the Scapius Dutch group and the international group. So feel free to post them there. Or you can post them on Instagram with the hashtag ScapiusSockalong. I should probably type that in here because I know non-Dutchies find it difficult to spell. Scapius Sockalong. Serena has taken a photo with Kowalski from the Fantastic Beasts. Oh, is that like the baker? Oh, he's so cute. I think I've only ever taken a photo with a music group. with the lead singer of Graffiti 6, and I was so into their music, and I don't think they've made much music since, but I was like, I couldn't say anything. I just said hi. I was so shy. And then when you go home and you think about all of the funny things that you could have said, like even now, and it's been like 13 years ago, and I'm still thinking about it. Yeah, he is, and he does not take himself seriously, and that breaks the ice. Yeah, he seems like a really nice person. Hey, Tammy! Did you knit that much already since you've been chatting? Yeah, it's been really productive. Yeah, I just cast on around 9:15, and we've just been having a really nice chat. So I have done, the first 3 stripes are from this one, from the Gallery Central. And then now I'm knitting with the, I don't know, I think it's called Industrial something. I forgot what it is, but it's the orange gray one. Alright, I did say I would just knit up until the gray stripe and then call it a day. Oh, Industrial Terrain, that's the one. That's the one. Oh, my shoulders. Okay. Okay, I am going to check out the groups and see what questions I can answer there. And I want to thank you all for being here so much. Yeah, it's addictive. I know. I need to stop. So I'm just going to switch back to the main camera. Hello. And there. Get that out of the way. Yeah. Oh, I'm really feeling my shoulders. Okay. Yes, so thank you all so much for being here. I am going to be back in 2 weeks with another live stream. I'm taking a break next week simply because I'm going to be somewhere and I don't know what the internet situation is. So I will be back in 2 weeks, Thursday, 9 a.m. So that will be on August, what would that be, 24th? August 24th. I'll be sure to mention it in the website and, everywhere. So I'll be back in 2 weeks, and in the meantime, I'll be in the Scapious Facebook groups. I'll be in my own Facebook groups. I'll be writing blog posts. So any questions that you might have, pop them into any one of those places, and I'll be sure to get to it. Boy, you really got a lot done. Yeah, I am really surprised. Like, every time I knit socks, I'm surprised at how fast it goes. So, have a really great week. I will see you all face to face in 2 weeks, and I will be back with another blog post next week. Thank you all so much for being here. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.